Alright, so this isn't really gun related, but it's still kind of important, I think. The dogs have decided that they want to dig out and go swimming in the neighbors' ponds. So I am laying down some chicken wire and strapping it to the fence so that they at least have a barrier and can't dig out right underneath the fence. It's worked pretty well around the house to stop them from digging, and we're just going to see how this works. If this works out well, I'll do the entire dog run. Entire dog run is about 250 linear feet, so we're going to test with this first 50 foot. I started out by rolling out the chicken wire, and then I used the steel wire that came with the chicken wire to just strap it to the fence real quick. And right now I've got 3 sections done of using 18 gauge wire to actually wire and sew it into the fabric of the chain link fence. So we'll take it from there. So a minor break in the weather. We'll try to get this finished up. Keep these dogs inside the fence. Start by paying out about 8 to 10 feet of wire here. Don't mind Leo, he's just checking things out. Alright. So I've been starting on the previous section and then moving my way forward, just thinking that this will give me some nice overlap. Maybe change some direction of force so that it doesn't come right back on to a knot or too close to a anything that will cause it to loosen up or break. The whole idea here is that the dogs can try and scratch it and pull on it, and it won't give. I am by no means a professional fence builder, so it doesn't look quite right. That's because I'm rednecking it up and figuring out how to do it myself. Alright, I'm just probably going to keep repeating myself to this video because God only knows what I want to use to make an actual video for you all. So, big gist to this whole project is to keep the dogs from getting out and going in the neighbor's pond and coming back wet. It's getting summertime, and summertime in Florida and ponds mean water moccasins and gators. I don't think the neighbors have any gators in their pond, but they should have water moccasins for too much longer. And I don't want the dogs getting over there and dealing with that. That kind of makes me upset too. I've been real happy about them having a pond because of the moccasins and having kids and dogs, and it's just not a great thing to have. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of weaving this 18 gauge wire, trying to stay off the top of the chicken wire, just so that if they do pull and collapse on it, it has more than one strand to pull against. I'm not pulling directly against the top. Hopefully this weave will give it some additional strength. This isn't the strongest of materials, but hopefully has a cumulative effect and is just enough to keep the dogs from being able to dig out from underneath it. You know, I was thinking about doing a video on an article I saw the other day. Maybe this is a good enough time. I don't have to actually do a whole video on it. But speaking of gators, I saw an article about a dive team down probably South Florida-ish that decided to post snipers as they were attempting to do a recovery. The newspaper called it a rescue, but I don't know of any law enforcement dive team that's going to say that it is a rescue. It's always a recovery because it takes time to do a good recovery, to do it safely for the divers. I've been on a few of them. In fact, probably about within a few days of that article, we were on a dive. About 11 o'clock at night, a car was driving through a golf course. It went under. My squad had actually responded out. They were attempting to extricate the driver. I have no idea how that went because whenever I heard it was going sideways, I went to our dive locker, grabbed my gear and an extra set of tanks because when they go sideways really bad, and it usually does turn into a recovery. So I get there and I start figuring out what all we had happening. Dive supervisor showed up. They decided we were going to do a dive at 11 o'clock at night in a thunderstorm to verify there were no other persons in the car and to get the car out of the pond. So, jokingly, I told one of the first units there. She kept asking me, "Is there anything we can do for you? What can I do for you? What can I help with?" Well, I told her, "Tell you what, shine a light out there, and if you see any gators, shoot them." She luckily picked up on it was a joke. I do not want anybody pointing rifles, particularly, in the water as I'm diving in black water. Not that I don't trust my squad, most of the people I work with, but the propensity for that to go bad is just too high. Gator's not going to bother you. I've been diving with gators for years. In fact, I've been diving for about 35 years now, and not some of the prettiest places. And you pretty much always guarantee in a golf course pond there is going to be a gator. And one summer we decided we were going to pick up golf balls and clean golf balls for a little extra money. And we used to chase the gators out, and it was a lot of fun. I like playing with the gators more than I did actually trying to deal with the golf balls. Within a few days later, I saw the article about the dive team. Hi. Thank you. I saw the article about the dive team with their snipers to protect them from the gators. And it's just an absolutely horrible idea. You're diving with no visibility, most likely. You've got all kinds of vegetation in those kind of places. Mud, silt. Your diver's going to pop up out of the water and is going to look very strange, more than likely. And it's only going to take a little bit of excitement about an alligator to cause somebody getting hurt. Conversely, it could also be you actually do see a gator and you go to shoot it, and guess what? Bullets skip over water. And now you're skipping bullets across a pond to who knows where. Usually, at least in our area, there's a golf course, there is a house somewhere nearby. And now you're skipping, in that case it looked like ARs, so probably 223 rounds, towards people's houses. Something I really wouldn't recommend. Now our team, we do have a method for dealing with alligators if they're actually going to be a nuisance. We have these things called gator chasers, and they're just a small, basically a firecracker you light off underwater. The boom and noise makes the gators go away. They don't want to have anything to do with it. They leave you alone. That would probably be my recommendation for what to do with gators when you're trying to make a public safety dive. Might not be completely legal to do something like that if you're doing just, fun recreational dives, but for the most part, gators are not going to bother you. Unless somebody's been feeding them, they're not an issue. The animal that bothers me the most, and the one I want nothing to deal with whenever I'm diving, is going to be a water moccasin. I do not want to pop to the surface and see a cottonmouth anywhere near me, because that sucker is probably going to become aggressive. He's probably going to try to bite. And it's just not going to be a good day for either of us. Hi. I'm not trying to tie this or anything. Thank you for your help. Do you mind? This is why it's so hard to get anything done. Yeah, that probably wasn't long enough talk to bother doing a full video on it. Just because I don't know enough about the actual incident or case, just what they put on the news article. Alright, gonna bail out another 8 to 10 feet. And just these last 2 sections left, and we'll see how this works. Gonna be a couple days before I get the mulch to cover this up, because what I usually do with chicken wires is just put mulch over it. It's another thing that they just hopefully don't like digging through. But the idea behind this, or the idea that I finally came up with using the chicken wire, is they scoot underneath the fence after digging a little hole. This, they can't really dig because the chicken wire is going to catch their nails. It's going to stop them from getting any depth. And then if they do try to just push under, say if they do get a little bit of a hole through the chicken wire, they're basically just going to get caught and stopped, because they're going to be standing on the loose end, and they're going to be, the top end is going to be secured to the fence. So hopefully they're not going to be able to push their way through and get through and find the pond. Now if this works, I'll do the other 200 feet of fence. If it doesn't, I'll have to come up with a plan B. Actually, plan F at this point. Hi. Yes, I love you too. But you smell like swamp. Hi, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, time to get off. Come on. I'm working. Daddy's working. Oh, you don't care. You want to be a lap dog anyway. This is a 93-pound lap dog. Oh. Alright, go. Go. Find out what Otis doing. Okay, so here's the tail from the previous one. I used that to tie into the next one. Yeah, I more or less start my wire over here. And that one comes through. Which I know you can't see right now because there's a large dog in the way. I know you can't see it because I can't see it. Ooh. Go play with those. Here, I'll pet him. There you go. See, I'm petting him. No jealousy there. Oh, I'm talking. That's why he thinks I'm talking to him. Is that what it is? Am I talking to you? So you gotta be front and center while I'm talking to you? Oh, I appreciate it. Yes, I do. Oh, yeah. Stop. I can't see what I'm doing. Yes. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. Alright, so I started on the previous side. I got tail from the previous side left. Oh, you know, I really didn't realize how much easier it was without a dog standing in front of me. Well, it's nice to have company. Alright, almost done. Luckily I'm down a helper. Must be on the porch relaxing. And again, I'm going to start about where that last one should terminate, but it's not going to because I'm going to terminate it at the next side. So I get some overlap. Just weaving this back and forth, over and under, in and out. So you get plenty of contact. Yellow fly again. Do just like them. Any good tips for getting rid of yellow flies, I would certainly appreciate hearing. Mosquitoes I have a pretty good control on. Never found anything other than there was some type of black paste my dad used to put on beach balls and hang from trees. They would get caught in and die. I never learned what that paste was, so we've never done it. No idea if my mic's even picking this up anymore. I'm probably just over here talking to myself. Which that's fine too. Usually the only audience can really stand everything I have to say. I do think it's kind of cool, you know, up to 123 subscribers. Hey, they seem to really like the duty belt videos for some reason. Although one guy did say that I was Jeremy DeWitt with all the junk on my belt. Another guy asked me, you know, why I had an M2 bayonet on my belt. You know, first off, I am not Jeremy DeWitt, but I do find all his videos funny. I do carry a lot of junk, but that's because I work an island by myself for the most part. I kind of like working by myself. But you need a lot of tools when you do that. Or at least policy says you should have a lot of tools available to us when you do that. For the most part, I really don't need a whole lot of tools. I am full of BS enough where I've only been in a couple good fights. Of course, they ended rather abruptly. And most of my supervisors seem to understand that I'm not too unhandy in a fight. leastwise one said that after the fight at the campground that day, that I had the guy pretzeled up pretty quickly and easily. That he wasn't worried about me, he was more worried about the guy he was fighting with. And kind of at that point, or at one point in that fight, I was too, because he started reaching for his gun belt. And that was going to turn very ugly very, very quickly. I'm thinking if it tries to pull back against all this twist, it's going to constrict down, maybe get kind of nasty as a knot. And provide additional strength and resistance. So there's about 3 or 4 reruns. See if I can twist this. Let's do a good twist here. Good for the twist. Turn it off. Suck it. Alright. Alright. That short. Then move back out where they can get a twist on each other a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one of these? Good news is that definitely is resistant to movement. Change of direction. Every time you change the direction, I have a feeling that it makes it more difficult to undo these knots. Snip that clean and touch under. Alright, that's got it done. I'll probably come along and put some stakes in just to hold this down until I get the mulch for all this. Tell me what you think.